Hey there, beloved ones. Welcome, Ascension Pioneers, to another one of my videos. Check out my new lights. Aren't they amazing? They're like these little twinkling stars. And I put them up for the holiday season and maybe beyond because I love lights. So the thing is that they can even have captured the light of the moon that we had full moon last night, tonight, in Gemini. And I was just creating some of my necklaces. I've showed some of them on Facebook, just doing this divine soul essence jewelry, which I was really fascinated about, and I'm wearing two of them now. And I was just so into this lately that just really inspiring. I was just writing about this today. It's not so much about what we create. It's not so much about the product. Like you have this thing you create, but it's the love you put in it, and it's how you create with divine magic and beauty. So I was so inspired, and I was putting my crystals up for charging late at night, and I think it was 1 a.m. and I usually go to bed at 2 or 3 a.m., which is very late, I know. And I just looked up, everything was light, like somebody would, just beam up with an intense light, and I couldn't believe, because that was my first full moon that I experienced here in this mountain space in such fullness, in such glory, because it was so bright. The air was that winter, when it's really cold, that crispy winter, that purity, like the tiny little crystals, they're so beautiful. And I was just looking at it like hypnotized. I didn't care if it was cold or not. But that beautiful magical scene when you have the mountains, snowed in mountains behind, they're just like they're in the back, and it was just all so crisp and clear. I feel it was one of the most intense moons. And if you haven't noticed yet, this full moon fell just in the middle point between the 12/12 and 21st of 12. So it's kind of like this connector point between this portal and the gateway and the energy that we're just holding now in this space. So today I want to talk about something that I promised for the Wisdom of the Stars video about the rays, the rays of consciousness, the rays of bursting out of creation within the variation of creation and all that is. And I've been sharing a lot about that when I began my journey of Ascension Pioneers. I remember I did quite a few writings about variation of creation and how everything is, in manifesting in the physical form. And today, again, I would like to address this more to maybe a deeper degree. And the thing that I want to bring today is the general overview of why the rays of creation are important, what they mean, and then of course give you the option to explore this yourself, because there's a lot of information about these things already in the internet, and about the beloved I am, about the I am teachings, the master teachings, and the sacred violet fire teachings. I'm guided to work a lot with the sacred violet fire now. I guess the energies are just blazing through. There's so much of intensity. Some people are still asking me, oh, what is the sacred fire decree? Because we went hiking this weekend, and we did 33 devotion decrees of the sacred violet fire, but we did it in our own language, kind of like modified version. But then you can always make up your own, because when somebody asks me, well, what is the sacred violet fire decree? And, I am the sacred violet fire, I am the purity God desires. And then you just feel it. You really feel it. Your purity. The purity is the key here, because what we're doing is that come, we come from our true divine core source purity. So the thing is that we did that, and we did a picture, and it was like full of that beautiful light, and it was kind of like a confirmation of what we were just doing, and not just where we were for the surroundings and ourselves and our own body and the cells, but projecting it outwards, like in this toroidal field, which then merges with the toroidal field of our planet, and they become one, which is how it is in truth. So after that, I still felt really guided to work with that. But the main thing is that you can make your own decrees, and I just do that out of playfulness. Sometimes I sit outside in nature, and I'm just sitting, and things just come. They just come through, and it's like a song. And as you know, I've told you, if you have been following what I've been saying, most of my guidance comes through these playful rhymes. It's a very elvish way of receiving guidance. Most of it feels playful. It's never set in stone or determined. Like um, one of the guidances that I had a while ago was something to do with, the wish comes true at the setting sun, and of course our mind would always go, what does it mean at setting sun? When the sun goes down, it can be many things. It's very archetypal. It's very, it's not like determined in a way. It can be left open for interpretation, but not through the mind, but the heart. So the heart will feel it. So it was something like, we can also imagine the setting sun being, when the sun is lowest at its point, when it's now coming with the solstice. So I've been trying to blaze through that guidance a while ago. I was like, what does it mean? It's like the wish comes true at the setting sun. Okay, because it was like a rhyme, and it ended in a rhyme. And I said to myself, well, the sun sets every day, so when is that? Why would it come this way? It doesn't make sense. So it wasn't about the time. It was about a certain particular time. So at the solstice, which is always when the sun is actually the lowest at its point, and then it holds its lowest point until 25th of December, and then it starts rising back again. So that's why solstice was created, to celebrate the light, the reemergence of light and truth. So, and that name, before I begin to speak about the rays, and if you've noticed how I do videos now, because I do so many other things, at the beginning it was just videos and writings, and now I'm doing creation work as well, and it takes a lot of my time. And like I said, sometimes I go to bed at 3 a.m. and wake up rather late, which is not good, because the sun is not up for the entire day now, because it's winter time. So I got to use my time wisely. I just want to make the use of everything. And I've been sharing in my previous video about the inner time, which is important. So this is that intuitive inner time. Means that inside when it's right to do certain things, and you just fluctuate instead of having that setup, kind of like a goal. Oh, I need to do it this way. I need to achieve this or that. It doesn't go this way anymore. So the solstice is kind of like that activation of that, the light of the truth, what it is for me, because the light is always the symbol of the truth, as love is the symbol for creation, for all that is beautiful, because the creator and the creation are one. And I was sharing this today through the messages that my necklaces gave. And like I said, it's always about what you create through beauty. So, on this note, before I begin talking a bit about the rays, and like you see, scattered, because I have too much to say if I don't make a video for so long, and then I just pile up so much inside, whenever I go out for a walk, it's like, oh, I'll share this, oh, I'll share that, it's just coming out. And then the video comes, and I don't always share everything that's came through. Maybe it's not time yet, maybe it's not that important, it's just what needs to come through does. And like I said, maybe you've noticing the pattern is different. I make longer videos now, and maybe not yet that frequent, but it's how I'm guided now, and this is, how it is. It's always in the now. It needs to bring you joy, and whenever I do video, it's joyful. Like today, I knew I had to record with my lights there because it brings me joy. So it has to be spontaneous and in the flow. And because of the recent things that were coming as triggers, I wrote an article today that I would really like for all of you who are guided to see it if you want to. Of course, whatever I do, I don't do it with intention. I just do it because today, after coming home from the walk, my fingers were kind of like itchy. When you have the writer's itch in your fingers. I thought, I keep mentioning that I'll do a harmonious relationship article because everything that's happening relationship-wise, not just in astrology, but we experiencing it, right? So I wanted to do that, but instead I was writing about what was happening currently. So how spirit guides me is always kind of like observing the flow of life and going with it. Sometimes I have longer term feelings and sensations of what I will do. They're not goals for me. I don't operate within the frame of business goals, achievements. I'm not an author, a published author, anything, and I don't want to be, It's not about that. I want to be who I am, an authentic being of source, expressing through me as uniquely as it does. So today I came home and the itchy fingers just began to write something. And it was about something that I was recently talking with a few of my friends. I have rare people at this time who really understand the core of self-mastery, the core of devotion to yourself, and through that, the service to all life. And really being devoted to that, to growth, through maturity, through spiritual purity and all of that. On the other hand, there's also things happening that are not always that benevolent and not always directed towards the self and expansion into our source. So recently, there was a few individuals sometimes coming into me, and that is always a path of mine to go even deeper into empowerment and eventually to always share this, what comes true, which is empower myself to help empower others. And the first thing that I saw after posting that was a picture of this beautiful lion. Somebody tagged me in this post, and I was just writing to my friend, oh gosh, I feel like a powerful lioness writing about this because it's so important, because not everybody wants to write about the nasty things, you know, about the ouchy things, the darker things. Everybody talks about everything is light and perfect and beautiful, but you know, you should go around sometimes or have these experiences and see that not everybody's that pleasant. Not everybody will be so much in the light of truth. And not talking about the falsified light when everything is perfect and glamorous. I'm talking about the real core light of truth, which is source, which is the light of truth of how we were all created. That for me is oneness. And that for me is the truth, that it's same to all, no matter what our personal truth is. So sometimes there's people coming your path who will criticize you, who will diminish you, who will scorn you, who will walk over you, who will gossip you, who will do whatever they will. And I feel this is really important to stress this, to really, really stress this, and not to walk away from it. I mean, deny it. You do walk away from it eventually because it doesn't serve you in the path of self-mastery. You got to see that this is there to empower you, Ascension Pioneers. But what I'm experiencing in my journey isn't always just that part, the blissful part, right? But everything is bliss if you know how to transform it with soul alchemy. This is what I mean. But sometimes there's also nasty things and people coming with profanity in their language and speaking to you vulgarly and vulgarity and doing all those things that they kind of just wait out for someone who they will banter all those things, all their negativity that was unembraced, that's unprocessed, and they just wait for someone, you know, to say, oh, this is the one who I will put all my fault to. This is the, you know, and sometimes I still, just very rare recently, but sometimes it happens for me on my path when it's time to move, sorry, when it's time to move even deeper on the journey of really embracing myself as I am by just being so neutral about everything. And this was the beautiful part about this. But I also felt guided to write about this because not everybody is yet that empowered. And a lot of times this hits the ones who are walking that path, because a lot of that dark, which is not yet processed in order to remember that it's, wow, it is light as well, just the light forgotten. And a lot of times the targeted individuals are the one who are very brave to speak out the things that most don't want to speak about. Because let's face it, it's very easy to talk about all the new age, all the glamorous, all the wow and the angelic, but it's not always easy to talk about the truth. And many masters, such as Joshua, Magdalene, and you know, all the masters, Saint Germain, beautiful masters, which I really hold the highest degree of respect for, have shown this way. And sometimes, you know, they have been scorned as well, and they have been seen as the false prophets, and especially to those who wait on a certain prophet to save them instead of show them to someone who will help them with their own self-empowerment and seeing the source within them. So when this happens, you know, you're not just to say, oh, you know, I just give up because somebody, oh gosh, there's rumors about me, or there's this and that about me. And first of all, I would always like to remind you, beloveds, about that most important initiation. That was one of the first ones that Joshua had in those rooms of initiation in deep dark holes of Egypt, I guess. That had to do with others, you know, the words of others, and telling him things that he said, I don't want to believe words by men. I want to, you know, he wanted to convey his I am presence, which is the only thing that is real. This is where our source is truly supposed to be admired, and this is what we're devoted to ourselves, not others, you know, not seeking it out there. So at this point, I would just like to encourage you that this week I heard this saying, somebody really said it beautifully, that you're not a true light worker. I mean, a true light worker really gives its 111%. This is who true light, benevolent beings who are in divine service are. And when you notice people who will just banter and criticize and judge and write really nasty profanity, those beings are just not really walking in divine service and in oneness. And they use, a lot of times I'm noticing people use oneness as an excuse. They say we're all one or we're love, to excuse their actions, which they're not willing to take a look at, you know, really stare in the face. What are my actions really projecting out there through my own inner unembraced darkness and shadow? This is what it is. Something that is not yet vibrating with the pulse of truth, of life, of eternal infinite life, and which is divine love. So when you notice things like that, just be aware that these things will always be there to kind of, you stumble upon them, they will test you in a way to show yourself how strong you are in your perseverance to devotion to divine service. And everybody had those. All the great ones had those. And the thing is that my purpose was never to speak about myself being as a certain living incarnation of someone, of some avatar, of some, and I'm noticing this. People send me these things, and it's exactly the opposite of what I'm trying to show you here is embrace your own God source self. You are on the path of self-mastery. You are everything. And the only thing that I wish to be is me. Purna Aurea. Aurea. I don't want to be Maitreya or Magdalene or anything like that. I am me. I'm me. This is the master. There's so many beings. And I've said this before. When somebody's claiming to be this and that incarnation, I can even imagine a beautiful master such as Saint Germain, walking the scythe and just being on those courts, talking to people and say, hey, do you know that I was Merlin back in the times of Avalon or this and that? I just can't imagine it. It's just not real. True devotees to this path, they share, they give their all. Like those two women who I had this honor of listening to their interview. It was not an interview, it's like a radio talk show. And they shared this, they were the ones who said that the true being of light gives their all, so when you give information, when you get knowledge, share it. It doesn't have to be material, I don't have to have money to donate to other causes, but you become your own cause and you start doing that work. You don't just sit there all days on the internet just waiting for the next victim to come your way that you will, blame or put your finger towards. It's really what is keeping us in the old. And sometimes, I do yawn. It's just, there's always the same patterns with these individuals who never even, it's so old, a woman was always looked as a goddess in the wrong way, which is not a true goddess. That meaning she's beautiful, standing there, beautiful and smiling, and as long as she's doing like this and she's pleasing to others, they will say, wow, what a goddess, what a beautiful being. The moment she speaks the truth, and they feel threatened, especially the old patriarchal, society. They're like, oh, that's not a true goddess, let's put her to silence, let's say she's this and that, let's speak vulgar about her, let's scorn her. I've shared this already, and what this brings is just more separation, okay, beloved? So this is really not how it works. You can't speak about oneness and at the same time act out of duality and separation. So oneness and all these new age luscious terms, which are also truth, but in a way they were manipulated in the way they're used, they're often used as an excuse. Because if you do something that is really not coming from divine love, and then you say, oh, we're one anyway, and I'm love, and you're just being opinionated, and you're really being mean or harsh towards someone, then you're not acting from that space. So if you're not embodying, there's no direct experience, so the energy doesn't match what you're saying. So it's puffy. It's not really there as experiential spirituality. And I don't even, today I was talking about this with my mom. I don't even use the word spiritual anymore because it's how people are doing this. They're dividing people: spiritual, not so spiritual, spiritually open, not spiritually open, higher, better. We're all equals, even those negative ones, it doesn't matter. But I'm talking about here is you either are sourceful, you live as sourceful being, or you're not. Or you forgot about your I am presence completely. And this is what you're here for, to remember your I am. And I feel that more of my next coming videos will be about this, will be about I am presence, because I'm experiencing this deep merge now and I'm just walking away from so many things. And I just feel how people complicate so much. And it's really also simple and it's just so beautiful. But the moment we make it about all these things and superficial and the outer, I'm not saying that, these things we create, they're beautiful, they're divine beauty, but if I would be focusing on this as, as being the goal and just thinking that this is my source, it's my creativity, but it's not my source. And all these things and methods and all of this, it's ceremonies, whatever we do, if it's not really being lived as from within to without, it's just empty and energy. It's just not really coming through our divine spark, okay? So know that the beings who are truly benevolent will always show that through their action. They will give their all, they pour all of their heart. And those who judge them are actually just, just showing another picture. And it's their job to embody themselves, and it's our job to embody ourselves, and it's all there is. And we can do the only thing that we can do is be ourselves and embody our own presence. And then maybe some core ready will come along and say, wow, I'm remembering too. You're inspiring me, or you're activating me only by being you. So the thing is, let's move on. What the rays are really about. So if you've seen the previous video, I'm sorry this was a really long intro, but I really felt this needed to be expressed, because no matter how you shut your eyes and say it's all so beautiful, and just how I read in Sal Kelly's new newsletter, he said people say now there's more negativity in the world. He said, well, actually, it's just the media is out there. There's more exposure to it because everything is so literally out there, and we're more exposed to everything. So naturally, we feel there's more of it. But at the same time, he explained that the word apocalypse is also unveiling. So just, moving all that shadow stuff and seeing what's really behind it. But like I shared today, if you're wearing a mask, please know that the truth is never behind the mask. The truth is the light that shines through it. That's the real core truth. So um, masks, not really important. They're just covering up all that is real, all that is you, all that is us in oneness. So that apocalypse is happening. All that light is coming to our planet at the same time, because it's always an equivalent, in the reciprocal oneness. And therefore, also a lot of what was hidden and, not yet exposed to that light of truth comes out. So this is all there is. And this is why I felt the need to express this first. The rays of consciousness are only important for you to understand for the reason of your purpose. So if you Google or wherever you go, you just find that beginner information about 7 rays of consciousness, and we had 7 on that level, just like we had the 7 chakra system. Now we're expanding. So so the rays are different too. So now we're also working with other rays, and we have a 12 base, 12, 13 source. On this level. Sometimes people share these images with me or information about 22 chakra system or whatever, these weird numbers, or 144. This is really not important now. I don't resonate with that because it's not important for earthly ascension. If you're really focusing on what is real here and now, you will focus on what's happening and unfolding with the light now. You won't be out there somewhere. It's just how ascension is happening on the earth. It's happening the way it is. It's not happening maybe this way or maybe that way, or maybe we're going to have that much chakras, or maybe we're going to have this way. It's just our personal truth is one thing. What's happening in the global, in the bigger scheme of things, which are universal and cosmic, these are just the way they happen. So for me, those things are not really important. I'm not focusing them because they're not here now. So my work of devotion is always about here, now. The information I bring to you is not information based on the mind or the intellect. It is what core spirit, which is the I am of myself, my own I am presence, is pouring through me to you so that you remember what's pouring through you as well. And this is true oneness. We merge and we blend and we see, wow, we're looking from different perspectives, but we're looking at the same core truth. Okay. So what is important here is that just how the chakra system, like I've shared in way back, maybe it was summer or spring, I don't know, about the higher chakra system, the 13 chakra system, 12 chakra, however you call it, does not have to have a name. What is important is the light. It is important is the energy. The vibration is always the crucial part here. And it's always about the purpose. Why is it this way? Why is it expanded? Because we're ready. Who is ready? Well, the soul scoop done the preparation work. It's just that simple. Don't complicate. You don't need to complicate about anything in your life. And so the thing is that these rays, we had 7, and just like the chakra system, it's expanding. The rays are expanding. Before, the higher rays were not like they were taking from us. This is, again, the approach that comes from duality and separation, but we ourselves have unplugged ourselves as a human race from it because we were barely functioning on some lower levels. So why would those, levels be important for us? They were not important. You see, the same as with this 22 chakra system. It's not important for us here now. So what I'm talking about in my ascension, it's not material, it's just sharing, okay? It's just guidance that comes to me through my own I am presence. And like I said, not everybody's linking with their monad yet. If you're one of those harsh, judgmental people, you're definitely not connecting to it because your I am presence is pure love. It's pure light. It's pure truth, okay? There's no room for that there. So when this comes, it is always what needs to be shared in the moment. It is always what is important here now. It's not airy-fairy. It's not, earthly shamanism. It's nothing like that. It's just that which is being expressed as our highest potential in the now moment. Whether you grab it and embody it, it's up to you and it's up to me. It's all individual, intimate source work. It's a work of devotion. So with the rays, we had 7 of them, and now we're expanding into more rays, just like we're expanding in our chakric system and our DNA activation. And I want to give you the example of the white ray, which is my most dominant ray. This is the ray that I travel to, which means it's connected with my purpose. When you'll be reading about rays, the 7 rays, 7 basic rays on the internet, and the Elohim and the archangels and the different masters, overlighting masters and energies linked with that ray, you'll be resonating with a lot of those qualities, like, the ray of compassion, the heart, this unconditional love, wow, the way of the healing, whatever. Of course, because in a way, as a being, as the I am source presence, when we say, God, what is God? The I am presence is the link with God. You can never be all that is. Because the God, the all that is, whatever we call it, it's not even supposed to be called God in some terms. When it's that expanded, when you really get it, it's so vast. But you get to experience it through your own I am presence. You get to experience the great I am through your own individualized I am. And this is your aspect. This is what is really how you were created, And it's utmost purity. So when you'll be looking at those different rays, these are always linked with purpose. And of course, you will resonate also with other rays. You say, wow, because you incorporate everything as that I am presence. But the ray which you travel on is always linked with your purpose. So for me, that is the white ray. This is the 4th ray. It's how it's described, and it's the ray of purity and unity consciousness. And when I was looking through the rays, they all resonated because all the qualities you feel you're embodying yourself. So if your mind tries to reach on it, it's like, what am I? You're none of that. It's the ray through which you travel to this planet to be of divine service. As a pioneering, volunteering soul, this is what will be of most importance. It's not who am I, it's what I am. What is my vibration? Why am I here? What is the frequency that I keep beaming on this planet to be of divine service to all life in creation? So when I got this, and when I was talking to my friend, and she also told me that, I'm of this ray, it doesn't mean I am the ray, you see? But it's the message that this ray incorporates. So when you'll be going through that, go through it with your soul. I'll be sharing now the example of the white ray, a few things that I've been writing from online, because every ray has its, its dominant color, the qualities, the order, the lighting master, and the Elohim, and so on. So I'll give you an example, and then you can see and follow up for other rays. So the white ray of unity, consciousness, and purity, which you've noticed me talking all the time about purity. It's about the essence. Like I said, the ray is white, and it's connected with the base chakra. The base chakra and higher chakric system is white, kind of like translucent white. And this is the color of our I am presence when it becomes embodied. So the red with the physical chakra, with the lower chakric system, and our 7 base chakric system gets overlighted with the higher chakric system. You actually get red and white. So this is the color of the I am. So if you're seeing that or feeling that a lot, you are meant to embody this. And this is why I always talk about the I am presence and the embodiment of it. Not just, being there, what's ascending, but about descension, the importance of descension. The qualities are purity, order, discipline, and ascension. So this is the ascension ray as well. The overlighting master is Serapis Bey, and I mentioned to you guys that when I got the Diana Coopers, I don't have them here, the Ascension cards, I kept getting this card maybe like 5 times in a row, and it was just like, when am I going to get another card? And Serapis was trying to tell me something. The archangels are Gabriel and Hope. The Elohim is Elohim, Purity, and Astrea. And just last week, somebody sent me a beautiful article, which I also posted on my Facebook profile, about the message from the Elohim Astrea. It was this beautiful story how a lot of beings actually gave up, gave their hope up for this planet. but she was the one who was really devoted. And you know, when I was thinking, wow, I got my name Aurea, this is Estrella, it sounds similar, you know, it sounds like really close vibration, like really home, feeling home. The other masters on the ray, you have many, like I said, there's many masters, you know, reading, oh, Estrella, ooh, I'm Aurea, must be her. It doesn't work this way, okay? This is another thing you need to know here, because this is what people do. The mind gets involved and you get all that kind of chatter. It's the energy that feels, you know, close to you, of resonance, and that's it. So that's why also you have other energies and masters on this ray. For instance, here we have the goddess of purity, the goddess of light, and Amanbay. The important keywords, for example, are I am, discipline, hope, order, symmetry, life energy, immaculate vision of soul, and ascension. And these are all archetypes that I got for myself as well. Remember, I shared with you that when I was asking myself, what am I in frequency? What is my purpose in frequency? You know, because most people who are here, they talk about, who am I? I'm the incarnation of this and that. But people who are of divine service, they ask themselves, what am I? What is my main dominant frequency that I'm supposed to see on this planet, and how I will do it? This is important. How to keep improving your service. That's all you're devoted to. None of other things matter, because they're just not important. This is also the ray of the mother. So if you're connected to Divine Mother, this is really important. And the ray of ascension, like I said, it shines the true nature and the source of God, which is utter purity. It is saved in the base chakra. It sustains immaculate image, pure divine image of each divine child. So that perfection through which you were created. And this is what I always talk about. So this is really home to me, really close. Through purity of thoughts, words, and deeds, we reach self-control. So there's also the mantra, be the light. Where I am, there is light, and I am that I am. All until I am of the world, I am the light of the world. Something like that. I respect my body as the vessel for spirit. I watch through the external, seeing in the very core of inner being. I respect and nurture the feminine nature inside me and others. Turning to the light, protection with the white light. These are all keywords. What's also related to is the fall of Atlantis. This is what I've been talking about a lot, because I was holding the light in Atlantis. It was like, seems like eons ago, but there's no time in truth, okay? So it's a vibration again. It's a service work. You already familiarized with it. It's already in you. You're just doing it like again in another era, another cycle actually, because it's not linear. It's also connected with Egypt and Alexandria, the miracle making, the little child, you know, the magical inner child, purity, you know, like, magic, wonder, awe. The world, karma, daily ascension, you know, that devotion to it. The ascended masters, the path of love to God, temple of ascension, the ceremony of ascension, you know, your own, it has to be inner ceremony. Humility, that's one of the main ones. And the white ascension flame, which I also mentioned. So this is something else I was writing here about. And I can read you about other beings of the white ray if that interests you, maybe. It's also Elohim Cyclopeia, Lord of Karma for the white ray, the Tara, you know, the white goddess, you know that. The highest order of angels, what's here, Justinians, the head of legions of Seraphim, you know, Seraphim, the creation angels, the Seraphim, the healers, the angel diva of the Jade Temple, the spirit flame of ascension, Ammon Bay, physical ascension, and the Holy Christ itself. So the Divine Mother energy as well. Mother's light, the Divine Mother in matter, which is creation, and the return of the Divine Mother. So the women, but not just the women, the men as well who embody that. So Divine Mother is you embody the immaculate conception of creation, how it was first originated, how it was created, in the image of likeness and perfection. And also connected with Kundalini, the goddess Kundalini, the mastery of energy in 7 levels, meditation of snow white balls for cleansing the 4 lower bodies, and meditation of the white lotus. So these are some of the things. And okay, this is, like I said, I will share an example of the white ray. There's many others, so you feel like, not like you say, wow, what's my favorite color, or, you know, just like I resonate with love and compassion. Just go deeper. What was your main message in the world? Mine was always about purity. Go back to perfection, who you really are. Remember, you're a child of the divine. So it's always in the message, in the frequency that you have to share. It's not in your favorite color because, I am the lady of white, but I also love, for example, I love hot pink, which is this magenta, which is the energy of the higher heart activation. I love turquoise. I love many colors. Gold, of course, white and gold. Oh, which has me to mention here about the Mahatmyam energy. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, and again, because some people say, wow, it's a ray. Mahatma is not really like a special specific ray. What Mahatma is the sacred pool of energy of all the great ones. You might want to read more in maybe, I don't know, Diana Cooper's books and wherever you want, or you're guided. It doesn't matter. It matters what you feel yourself. Because sometimes people say to me, this is like this and that. And I say, you know what? Forget about what I say or forget about what someone else says or when you read about it. First things first is always you. What do you feel on your path of self-mastery? Because when you're walking the path of self-mastery, it's you. So it's awareness comes only through you. Other things are just like guides, just like these turning points, and that's it. So go deeper, and the Mahatma is really important for amplifying your ascension, for accelerating it, for working with it, because what I'm doing lately now is when I invoke the sacred violet fire, I see the violet, and then the violet goes off. This is how it was this weekend when I was doing it on nature. And then the golden white came, which is Mahatma. It's like, wow, Mahatma, I feel it. I didn't even invoke it. It was just there. So it's like when you work with sacred fire, that's, the violet fire, and the decree can be of your own too. It doesn't have to be just that. But sacred violet fire is about coming back into our perfection, our natural state of grace. So when all this is unavailed, and when you come back, we want to do the acceleration work, and this is where Mahatma energy takes place. And then we're just, I'm raising now. Now I've come to my purity now because I'm a being of infinite expansion. I want to expand. So Mahatma is about this. It's about connecting now all the great ones. We're pouring in the sacred pool of energy. And it's not like, oh, it's there for the chosen ones, like a sacred pool for the rich ones or the new age ones, for the privileged ones. It's there for everybody, but you have to be ready and you have to know how to work with the energy. Whenever you invite certain essences in, then you got to own it. You're going to know how to work with it and in self-mastery. So this is all I wanted to share for today. Beautiful beings of light, thank you for accompanying me on my journey. And this is all there is. Please, no worship. And whoever has me, build stories about me and that, it's really just their own projection. You who really follow what I'm saying know that I'm just encouraging you on your own path of self-mastery, and that's all there is. I want us to be who we are, and that's equals. So may you be blessed and all the light and truth coming here for this holiday season as well. Especially, it's a very, very wondrous time. I love December, like I shared. And if I receive more detailed information through Spirit, but lately, really, just Spirit tells me it's all about simplicity, just enough with all this information. We had enough, just move back. So I'm really unwinding from everything. It's just becoming more just me, that core value, deep value me. And sometimes I'm asking myself with people who are doing all this stuff and just seeking, and it's like, what are they really searching for? And where do they think they're going to find it? Seriously. And because I was doing my necklaces, I listened to some interviews while I was doing them. And I had this one with this man, this older man who shared something beautiful. He shared his experiences, which our journeys are. It's our experience, it's for us. Even what I do here, it's for me. I do it first and foremost for me. Other than that, it's not real. It's not authentic. If I feel, oh, I'm going to do it for everybody else, and I missed the key point. I do it where? Through my own I am present, so I do it mostly for me. And then if it reaches out, if it reverberates out, and whoever it's meant to reach, then it's also for others because we're one. This is the oneness concept. So the man said, through his sharings and experiences, that we were actually never meant to seek God. He said, you're just living your life and you're following the bliss and you're just experiencing, and then God finds you. I'm like, oh, bravo, bravo. It's the most ultimate, it's the most sacred, holy truth there is. It's the absolute truth for me. And this is how I want to end this video. Don't look for the truth, those seekers of truth, whatever. The true knowers of truth, they don't seek anything. They become it. They live it. You know, you experiencing it with every conversation you have, with every part of you, with every particle of nature, with every bird that sings to you. You know, it's really for you. And with all the animals, just other beings, harmonious relationships are with everybody. Oh, feels like a topic for a new video, so I'll stop here. And I'm wishing you gracious holiday seasons. You know, if I don't turn up before, maybe I will. Who knows? Sometimes I do a Christmas message. We will see. And I invite you to the sacred space of your purity. And today, let's just embrace the white ray, okay? Since I was already talking about it. So, in white light of unity, of Christ consciousness, purity, of oneness, I greet you all. And from my sacred heart space and my lights, to all of you, I love you all so much. Take care. Bye bye.